Hello.
Apologise
Hello.
for the delay. We're having a little bit of technical problems because of storms everywhere. Our poor
Yep.
Mystical has been kicked out twice already, so I do apologise if we're in and out, guys, and let us know in the chat if it is a bit unbearable, okay? So, can you believe we're on to show 4? This is the Witchy 101 show 4 already, which is the shadow work. So, tonight's
I
a bit
know.
of a deep one, guys. So, yeah, so if you have been doing the homework and things up to this point, especially if you have been doing the meditations, then you are going to be at a
Hey,
place
Phoenix
where
and
you
Kathy and
are
Carrie.
already kind of
Hey.
knowing where your path's gone. Yeah, well, so let's introduce ourselves anyway first to get this before we get the show started. My name is Andrina. My friends call me Drew. My witchy name is Athena. So we are a team of witches who want to help people and teach them how to go back to basics and find their spiritual self, let's say. So I have got my own channel, which is Drew's Paranormal Vlog. I do a little bit of witchcraft over there. I also do paranormal investigating. And we do support streams and things as well as a combination of all our channels. So I'll let my beautiful sisters introduce themselves. Welcome in, ladies.
Hello. I'm Sherry, also known as Willow in my witch name. I have Paranormal World Investigators, which is PWO Spiritual Investigators. I do paranormal. I am a witch and do witchcraft. Again, I do spiritual stuff as well. We help do uplifting streams. And yeah, I hope that you are enjoying the Witchy 101 shows so far. And thank you, everybody, for coming in. Love you all.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in so far, we got Phoenix, Iron, Kathy, Carrie, Christy. Now, on this show here, I
Welcome
won't
in,
be
everybody.
talking. I won't be talking very much because I keep losing service and I don't want to be in the middle of something and it go out. So if you see me disappear, it's because I've lost the internet service. It's been going off and on continuously. My name is Rochelle. My channel is Mystical Love and Light. I also do paranormal investigations. I do workings. I show people how to empower themselves by showing them how to make powders and oils and different things like that for different workings and prayers and things of that nature. If you are inclined to want to do something but you don't have the materials to do it, always look on my Etsy shop. You can order it through my Etsy shop or you can contact me on my videos and just let me know what it is that you are needing. So again, if I disappear, I'm not being rude. I'll just get back as
Yeah.
soon as the internet pops back in.
We've not banished her, I promise. Chill, you're off. So welcome in, everybody. Oh, we have got all our amazing people here tonight. Welcome in, Christy, Kerry, Kathy. Too cool for Banshee. Welcome in. Welcome in,
Hello.
Ironfire and Phoenix. So let us talk a bit about where you should kind of be right now. Have you been
Oh,
doing the
Danny's in.
meditation? Let's start there.
Banshee.
In the
Hey,
chat, let us
pups.
know if you've been. Yeah, Banshee's new, I think. Welcome in.
Pups is in the room as
Most of
well.
you will probably be already. Welcome in, Uncle Danny. Yeah, welcome in. Most of you already be probably meditating things as well. The reason that we wanted to ask is if you have connected through meditation yet is because you'll find that once you do the meditating and trying to connect to your spirit guides and things, sometimes things from your past will come up and you'll come out of your meditation feeling a certain way, and maybe you won't pinpoint what's wrong until you go deeper into it. And it could be something traumatic that's maybe sitting there at the back of your childhood, your teenage years. For me, shadow work helped me because I was trying to get over drug addiction. I was trying to find myself. I kept jumping from one relationship to another. Um, so shadow work for me helped me to ground myself. It helped me find what was going on in my head that kept making me go down these old roads. And when I started to meditate and started to take this spiritual path, when I realised where it was all coming from, through meditating, through just sitting really daydreaming and figuring out why different things kept happening in my life. And I don't want to blame my big brother because I love him dearly, guys. Honestly, my big brother, I love him so much. And I don't want to put all this on his head because kids will be kids. But when I was younger, my big sister and my big brother kind of ganged up on me all the time. I was the youngest. So they would blame me for everything. They would do things wrong and I would get the blame. They would go do scribble on television things with crayons and they would say that they seen me do it and things. So I always got punished for things I never ever done. And it wasn't until a few years ago that they did admit that to my mum and dad. We were sitting at Christmas, I think it was, and they thought it was funny to say, yeah, we used to do that to Brina. We used to do, we smashed a mirror one time and they blamed me. They used to flood the toilet with toilet roll and things and blame me. So that all came, I forgot all about it. So that had all came back in my head when I started to do it. And that was the shadow work. So I had to face that. I had to face the fact that I never ever felt good enough for anybody because my big brother used to bring me down to that size. I would maybe do my hair or something. He'd be like, why are you bothering doing your hair? You're always going to be ugly. You know, and I was pregnant with my daughter and he would say, eh, you're only going to get fatter. You're fat anyway. But I was never fat. It was just the things to hurt my feelings. So all that came out in the shadow work. So I had a conversation with him and I told him how much he hurted me and things. So he apologised for that. So, but it's that type of thing that will creep up on you and you have to do the shadow work on it. Even though I did have the conversation with my brother, I could have easily just wrote it down and burned it in my cauldron. I could have just kept going over it and finding out deeper and deeper into it, the things he said, maybe why did it hurt me so much. And it and it was because I wasn't confident. So that's kind of what shadow work done for me, guys. And it will start to do
Hey, Iron.
things like that for you. So just be careful when it does start to come up in your life. And once Sister Sharon Mystical says a lot about their story with shadow work, I will go deeper into it. So Sister Sharon Mystical about what it is and how it can help you. So that's about my how shadow work helped me, guys. It'll help me find my confidence and things. So what about you, ladies? Who wants to go first?
Let Sherry go. My internet will probably go out before then.
With me, my shadow work was quite deep because I'd done different forms of shadow work. Obviously, I've done shadow work through my witchcraft, but I actually went through counselling and psychology because I went through quite a traumatic life and quite a lot of horrible things done. So I know, like, to the full scale how like deep it can get and how upsetting it can get. But at the same time, it's better to let those emotions come to light and to face those emotions than keeping them inside you because it's what holds you back. And a lot of people don't realize that your shadow self isn't a negative thing. Your shadow self is something you really need to be in tune with to be able to be stronger in yourself. So bringing that side out and focusing on it and finding where the problems occurred. Obviously, like people grew, a lot of mine came from childhood and growing up, having certain situations that I found myself in where
Okay.
things were very difficult and very upsetting and challenging. So through my psychology and that, it really helped me to come to terms with understanding myself because I didn't know who I was really. I was very lost, very stuck. Um, I really didn't like myself very much, and I would constantly put myself down, which I still have my little problems here and there, but I am working on it. But I found that shadow work really helped me to open my heart up and made me realize that I am special and I am important and, that I am strong because I didn't think I was strong. And I didn't think I was important or special until I faced it. And I enjoy having my shadow self now. I enjoy having that. I really can confide in my shadow other half. And it really does bring like a strength out in you. But like Sister Drew said, when you're doing the meditations and when you start, if you do decide to start doing this stuff, be aware that you are going to get things that creep up on you that are not very nice. But what you've got to look at it like is that creeping up is going to help you to face that and to help you to bring that out and to say, okay, yes, these things happened. I went through these things, but look at me now. Look how far I've come now. Look at the person I've become now. And that's what this shadow stuff is all about. It's about making you realize who you truly are. Okay. It's shadow. When people hear the word shadow, they think it's negative things, and it isn't. It's showing you both sides of yourself. If you can't have one side and not the other, you have to have your light and your dark to be the person that you are. So for me, shadow work saved me, in my opinion, just like my spirits and stuff did. You know, it did really help me to accept myself and to love myself more. I just wanted to be confident. I wanted to be happy in myself. I didn't want to look at myself that I was a waste of space. Nobody cares or loves me, and I was quite judgmental to other people as well, which is a lot of the dark shadow side. It makes you judgmental if you're not facing it. So I needed to bring that, not judgmental that I was nasty to people, but if I see a trait in them that was in me, I'd hate it because I felt that they shined better than me because I couldn't see that I
Yeah.
shined. So
Yep.
it really helped me to realize that and see it in a different way. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that, if you guys have got things to face and to get by, shadow work is most definitely something to work in. You can do it on your own, or you can have people come and sit with you and help you to do it. So not everybody likes to do it on their own, but we are here, and take a look at it, guys. Do the meditation as well. Definitely do the meditation, because the meditation will help you to tune in. It'll help you to maybe bring that up a little bit as well, and be able to face it.
That's
Definitely, Kathy. For me, Kathy said, for me, working on those parts of myself that I have hidden helped me understand why I react to some things in a
Yeah,
certain way. Definitely,
yeah.
Kathy, and we will get into that more once we hear mystical side of what I, because it's amazing what
Hey, Beth.
shadow work really is. Little people, as sister said, think it's that thing that looms at you wanting to make you do wrong in the world, and it really isn't that.
It
So
isn't.
I'm glad that you found that, because it's helpful to find things like that about yourself. Do you want to tell a
so.
bit about shadow work with you, mystical?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm different than Drew and Sherry. I've never done shadow work. I've never felt that I needed to do shadow work. Now I'm not going against what they say, because what they're trying to explain is why you need it. You know, the reasons why they did it. For me, I'm kind of like the opposite. When I was in school, I was always like the smallest person in every single grade that I was in. So I was always very confident in myself. I was very mean, as in taking up for myself, and never put up with anybody doing me wrong or trying to fight with me. Since I'm half white and half Hispanic, which on the Hispanic side is the Aztec side, if I was hanging with the kids that were white, per se, then on the Mexican side would want to come fight me. And the opposite way, if I was with hanging out with them that day, then all the whites would want to come. But I never let that interfere, because I was always the type that if somebody come up to me and all they had to do was just touch me, I would lay them out. I was little, but I was mean. I was very confident in myself, because the way that I was raised was, my father was old school. He was like, if you get into a fight in school and I find out that you didn't win, I will beat your butt when you get home. So I always,
Yes. I've got
he
uncles
said,
like that. That's what my uncles were like.
I don't care if you pick up a 2x4 and hit him, you better not lose a fight, because
Yeah.
he knew very well that in school, that I would be picked on and all this because I was so small, was so tiny. But I never let that bother me. If I saw kids being picked on, I would take up for them. I would go beat up the person that was picking on them. They could be 3 times the
Right.
size of me, but I didn't care because I always felt like I was a leader and I always had people look up to me since I was very confident in myself. So all through life, that's what I did from the time that I could start taking karate and learning all of the deadly forms. My uncle got me into all of that because my uncle was in a class.
Was there
Are you
anything?
sick of having issues with your webinars? Tons.
Was there anything emotional ever came up for you though? I mean, that's okay being tough and fighting and things, because I was like that, but I mean, like more on the emotional side. Was there ever anything that you kind of always shut down your emotions, wouldn't deal with it? Because that's
No.
more of what the shadow self brings out. Is
Right.
that
Yeah.
part
No,
of you
and
that
see,
you
I
just
think
won't
that's
deal
why.
with?
Yeah, I think that's why I never really needed or did the shadow work because I never felt that something was bothering me that I need to do that, in hindsight. So I never needed it.
Right.
A lot of people do, and in the spiritual world,
Right.
what we're in, how we do things, you hear a lot of people talking about their shadow work, which is great. I've just personally never
Yeah.
needed to do that. So I'm kind of on the opposite side
Never
of
needed it.
where you two are coming from on this show today. Hey Curtis and everybody
Hey,
else that's
Curtis.
coming in, Lunar. So yeah, since I don't have a lot to add into the shadow work part, I'm just
Yeah.
mostly gonna be listening to what you all are needing to say or what y'all had to do. But emotionally, no, nothing
Yeah.
really affected me that I felt that I needed to.
See, the thing about shadow work is that it's
Maybe.
that part of you that you always feel as if you have to live to an expectation as well. There's always something there in me that I feel as if I'm not good enough for, that I'll never reach the level of anybody else. And that is me having to fight that shadow self of my emotions. I have to always say, I'm good enough to do that. I'm good enough to go as high as somebody else. I'm not good enough to push out what I want to do in life. My emotions are just as important as the next person's emotions. But when Sister Sherry and I done shadow work the last time we done these teachings, the both of us knew that it was going to come up into the craft, because a lot of people walk away. A lot of people can't handle that confrontation of your emotions. So when I was going through it, I had also to realise that a lot of the things that's happened to me in my life, I brought on myself. So I had to kind of come to terms with that. I knew that the minute I took a drink and things, that there would be trouble. So sometimes I would go determinedly to have a drink so that I could cause trouble, things like that. And I had to admit that to myself, that probably 99% of the time I got in trouble through alcohol was my own fault, because I knew what I was doing. So things like that, if there's anything comes up with you, try and figure out, where does that come from? Why do you do that? And I realised that I'd done that as a coping mechanism. Before anybody could hurt my feelings, I was just going to go hurt theirs, So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
one of those things. But if you remember the last time, I actually asked you a question, and this covered a lot. What do you advise your child self? If there was something you could say to yourself as a kid, what would it be? And mine was, my answer to that question, what do you advise your child self? Mine was to always know that I'm good enough to do anything I wanted to do. That I am as good as as good as the person beside me. So ask yourselves that type of question. And I do believe Sister Sherry's got more questions as well. And ask yourself, what do you feel about your childhood? And when you start asking yourself, I mean, things like this, you can either do it on a recorder, write it down. And when you start going into that, it's amazing where you find all your problems in life. A lot of them will be your parents, a lot of them will be people at school, teachers and things. But so ask yourself a lot of those questions. And if you get questions, Sister Sherry, you've talked about.
Yeah, no, like all of mine's on a list because obviously I've wrote stuff out again. Okay, but there's a lot of questions where you're asking yourself where your problems came from. Where did it stem from? Where do you remember first feeling that emotion and that feeling that made you feel that you weren't important or confident, or that moment when you felt bullied? It could be anything. You've got to look with shadow work. You've got to look back to where the source started. And a lot of it does, like Sister Drew said, it comes from childhood. Okay, even though when we're little we don't really realize it, as we grow up we kind of realize that a lot of that was either bullying or it was directing things at you. And like Sister Drew said as well, even recognizing where you went wrong as well, things that you stepped out of line with and maybe you didn't act in the right way. Like, for instance, for me, I would look at other people and get really angry at other people if they had my traits, and I didn't need to be like that because I was no less than them and they were no less than me. We were equal, but at that time I couldn't see that. So it's not, like Sis said, it's not all about, is it everybody else's problem? There are problems that we accumulated within ourselves as well that we've got to face and realize as well. So the thing is, I've got like over 27 questions that you could ask yourself, all going through it. Okay. And it goes from,
so you could maybe do a little video for them,
that's what I'm saying. I'm going to do a follow-on video because it's got a lot, what I've got and what I've been researching through. I've got a lot of information explaining what the shadow work is, what it's meant to do for you, why it's important. And it's got questions that you can ask yourself and actually do to help you to do your shadow work. It even gives you information on how to start your shadow work if you're wanting to do that solo, or you're wanting to do that with a professional, or maybe with a friend.
I've got a structure for it.
Yeah. So I can do that video, but
there's a structure to it, guys. I mean, how to explain this? If you feel there's three selves, okay? There's your lower self, and there's your middle self, and then there's your higher self. And then accumulation of that is your shadow self, is the one that you fight against. So let me read this out to you, okay? The lower self. The order of our feelings come from three selves based on our emotions. The lower self is where our emotions come from. Feeling heavy around the feet and legs can mean we need grounded, giving our emotions back to Mother Earth and letting go. The inner self is the middle self, basically. The middle self is based on our emotions of intellect and emotion. So meaning it's where our upper and lower self meet, conjure up the action we then take. In some ways, I feel the middle self can do the most damage. We need to constantly keep track. The higher self. The higher self is where we come to understand and deal with all the other emotions. It's the place where we deal with and process emotions and figure out the way to send it up to the ethers and to give it to the gods. But there's also the shadow self. Wait till I find the page where I wrote down the shadow self. Right, so your shadow self. The shadow self is the inner you or experiences you never addressed or faced and have helped you back even if you didn't know at the time, and has come back or will come back and affect your life and your magical life, even tarot and paranormal investigating, as you have to deal with the inner and outer emotions and demons, such as drug addiction, stealing, bullying, facing the bullies, being the bully, being okay with your stability and being happy, being just the person that you are, and not letting your self-doubt creep in. All the negative emotions stop you from being the best person, a witch, a mum, etc. You can keep addressing the things with positivity and harmony. I've put there honesty, I think it is. So the way that you live your life as well can also help you with your mental health, with your shadow work. So going back to last week's teaching or the week before, when I said to you to live your life a certain way. So if you live your life in a certain way where you're always doing your meditations, you're getting up every day and you're trying to push out as much blessings as you can, you're trying to stay positive around every single aspect in your life, then most of the time you'll find that your shadow work and things won't creep up on you until you meditate. So try your hardest to live a life of being positive and things and living the way you want to live. And as somebody said in the chat, and being honest about things. And your shadow self shouldn't creep up on you as long as you're always dealing with things as they come up in life. Don't hold them back. We were always told that my mum and dad always fought and
Hey,
argued
Evie.
as kids. So on a Friday night they would have a big argument and a fight. So the Saturday morning we would get up and we weren't to talk about it, we weren't to tell anybody. And then it would happen again the Saturday night and we would get up on the Sunday. So basically they had a full weekend of just being drunk and abusing each other, but we weren't allowed to talk about it, we weren't allowed to talk about it to each other, we weren't allowed to talk about it to them or anybody. So we grew up always pushing down our feelings. So that's why I think when I had my spiritual experience at 40, that all these emotions came flooding back on me about how I had never felt good enough, how I had always just went day by day, never expecting any better in life, never learning how to drive, never getting a job, never really doing anything except for drinking and being what I wanted to be, really. So try your hardest to live being positive, and a lot of the shadow self stuff shouldn't affect you as hard as it did me. What do you want to add, ladies?
Well,
Melinda,
let's. Oh, go ahead,
go on,
Sherry.
Miss Mystical. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that's the reason why I've never needed to, because I've always been lucky, and now I use the word lucky as in I've always been blessed, because I always had my parents backing me up. I never really got into anything like that since I've always been a lot to myself. I've always had myself bubbled. I didn't go to like big parties. I didn't go to like weddings or funerals or baby showers or any of this because I kept myself away from majority of the people because of the way that I am being an empath. I pick everything up. So I think that helped me a lot not having to deal with that. I all through
Yeah,
school I stayed away from all of that. So I never got into drugs. I never smoked anything, weeds, nothing like that. Um I didn't do anything like that because I stayed away from the crowds. And I think that's the reason why I
yeah,
never really regretted anything. When I got married, when I met my late husband at the age of 18, we were married for 34 years. So he always pushed me, saying, you can do whatever you put your mind to. He always backed me up. He passed. Then I
right.
got married to Lee, and Lee's the same way. He backs me up. So I've always been bubbled. I've always been blessed. So I never really had run into that kind of dealings or feelings that I had to
Yeah.
do that. So when I listen to you and
But see, that
Sherry,
shows you
I
then that
consider
having
my
that support, yeah,
yes,
shows you
yes,
though.
yes, exactly, exactly. Sorry, Sherry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, sis.
See, for me,
So what about at school then? I've just a quick question to Mystical at school. So at school then you had like the two crowds wanting fighting against you, so you had to basically stick up for yourself because you felt in the middle.
Well, see, and the thing was is I always felt like the only reason they did that, and I felt like I had to take up, was not only taking up for me, but taking up for the group that I was with. Don't put them down. I'm with them, don't put them down. Or
Right.
the other way around. Don't pick on them, because with me being there, I was going to take up for them. It wasn't.
Right. So
It,
you
it
feel like
wasn't.
then I guess it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't two-faced, like, oh, I'm with them, and then I'll talk
It's just that
behind
some
you,
people
behind
can
your
be the
back. No,
stirrer.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
get
matter.
it.
I would
So you try
take
to
up
sort
for
it out
both
between them.
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good. That's good. Sorry, Sherry.
think
On you go,
what-
sis.
I think with me, a lot of my stuff come up because I didn't have that support network. I didn't have, like, my mum and my dad wouldn't come to my school meetings or do anything like that. They were never at my sports days, never at anything like that. I didn't go out drinking or doing anything like that. I was always at home looking after the kids. I had a lot of responsibility, and I was never appreciated for it. And
Right.
they just always made my life really difficult. Really, really made my life difficult. I was always made to feel like I was stupid because I had a learning difficulty. They would always just talk down to me like I was stupid and things. So that's how I felt I was. But obviously I'm not, and I know that now.
Yeah.
I'm very bright. But
Yeah.
when
Not now.
you have that and you don't have somebody saying it doesn't matter what you're like, it doesn't matter if you can't read or write properly, it doesn't matter if you can't do this or do that, you're still special, you're still clever. But I didn't have that. Okay. And I was always the one that was backing up and looking after other people, but when it come to me being needed to be looked after, it was never there. Okay. So
Yeah.
and even in my relationships, I've not had relationships where guys have like prompted me to be what I want to be. It's always been beat me down or do horrible things to
Yeah.
me. So it's been a constant fight in
Yeah.
my
Me
life.
too.
It's only since I've met Rudy that I've finally met a guy that does love everything about me, and I feel more confident. And obviously because I've gone through life and I've gone through all of this shadow work and I've gone through everything that I've had to go through, that it's made me that more confident. It's made me see how important I am, and that for all those years, I was really stupid to put myself down the way I did and do the things I did to myself. I used to self-harm. I used to do loads of stuff to myself because I felt so worthless. Okay, so going through that shadow work really opened me up to make me see that. And like, Sherry, you're so much more than what you think you are. And that's what keeps me going. And like everyone goes, oh,
Yeah.
you don't want your shadow side to creep up. The thing is your shadow side should be out with you. It's not a negative thing. Okay. The problem is in life is too many people bury everything they're going through.
You
and
have
think
to
they
always
can
do
avoid.
it.
Makes you sick. It makes you see the world in a completely different
Welcome,
way.
brother.
You need your shadow self.
Yeah.
You need that to be strong and to keep going. Do you know what I mean? So
Definitely. It's always going to come up. It's about dealing with things head on. Every emotion, good and bad as well. If you find that you're having a really good time somewhere, you also can say, well, I had a good time because I was with Sister Sherry that day, and keep that. And then the next time that you feel that you need a little bit of an uplift, you go spend time with that person because you remember that when you're around them, they make you feel good. So that is like the opposite of shadow work as well. It's like always stick around those people that make you feel your worth. They make you feel as if you can push yourself to the next level, because I never had that either as a kid. I was always just there, I suppose. I was never encouraged, never pushed on. So shadow work can be
always put down.
Anything to anybody. It can be not being confident going out to work.
Just always put down. Even when I had like ideas and things I wanted to do when I leave school, they were like, "Oh no, you're not. You're not bright enough. You can't do that."
And the thing is, Sherry, you are so knowledgeable. Just
Yeah.
from the time that I've known you, you're extremely knowledgeable. And just like Drew's like the sweetest person.
I'm getting
in the whole
tearful now
freaking
because
world.
it does still choke me up. I do still get tearful. You can see it. It does still hurt. Of course it, because No
Yeah.
one should go through life
It's
feeling like they're
because we were
worthless.
never
Nobody should
told
go through
that.
life feeling
As
like
a
they
kid,
can't
we were
turn to
never
anyone.
told.
You shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't have to go for that. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
to sit there
I
lonely
suppose
and
I
not have
always
anyone you
thought
can
it
turn
was
to.
somebody else's job.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
just always felt it was somebody else's job, that happiness, this big happiness would come along eventually. And it never ever came, guys. I always just lived day by day, never having a job, never driving. I always expected somebody else to bring me my happiness. I never ever reached out for it myself until I had
But
that breakdown. And
that's how I
I
was,
thought,
sis, and I think that's why I
this
got into
road.
some of the
So
relationships
it's
I got
important
into,
for
because
you all.
the love and the companion that you should feel from your parents at home, because I didn't get that. I strived that in my partners, but my partners weren't the partners they should be. They were bullies and beat me up and all sorts of things, because I wasn't learned any different. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, like, it's like you, sis, you know, it was difficult. We didn't realise that. We would search for that security, that love, that feeling appreciated and needed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because we
See,
never
and I
had it.
was on the other side of having the complete
And then when I did get in
opposite.
a relationship, it was an abusive one.
That's what I'm saying. It was abusive.
Yeah.
It wasn't the people you think it was. Like, I'm not saying that my mum and dad didn't do things for me. Of course they did. They bought me
Yeah.
Christmas, birthday presents, stuff like that. But when the support that a child needs growing up,
Well, yeah.
that wasn't there. And the child growing up is the most important and vital time of their life for their confidence and what they're going to be as a person. Now, luckily for me, because I've had energies and things around me that have always shown me what I am,
Welcome
I am a
into
strong person. I am a very strong person,
Hey,
but
Kim.
I've always
Yeah.
put myself down. Like Sister Mystical said, Sherry, you're very acknowledgeable. You're very clever.
takes years to
I
get
didn't
there.
believe that for years. I didn't believe that for years. I wouldn't even speak. Wouldn't even speak or do anything. Like,
I know.
you know.
I used to get embarrassed when people gave me a compliment. I wouldn't know what to do.
I used to think
I'd
they
like,
were coming
oh,
after
thank
something.
you.
Like, what are you
And I would
after?
feel
Why are you
really
saying that to
awkward.
me? Like, we're not after anything,
what do you
Sherry.
want?
We're just being nice to you. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. But it's about facing all that and realising that you are good enough and things. It's, I don't know, it's how to explain it. But it's a good process as well, guys. It's not all doom and gloom, because you
No, it's
do
not.
actually,
It's not.
in your meditation, if you ask to face your shadow self, you can remember such good things about your own personality as well. You give yourself credit for that. Such as we're saying, we never felt good enough. I remember I was good at art, so I need to pat myself on the back for that. It was the only, what do you call it? The test at there was the only exam I ever passed was my art exam and my camera exam, the photography. So I did my A levels in that. That was it. So I need, for all that's all it was. I still have to pat myself on the back for achieving that. So it's about giving yourself the appreciation when you deserve it, and facing the things that you don't really want to face. But if you face them, you feel a whole different world open up.
Yeah, you do. And then that's how I learned about things.
So
in myself.
meditation, how many of you are meditating right now?
Like, I learned that about myself, but I also learned that about other people.
Just to let them put this question in chat.
Like, I learned a lot about my mum doing my shadow work, because my mum grew up in care, okay, and she went through quite a traumatic life. So where before I used to really, really be angry at my mum, now I do realise, like, now I don't look at it that way. I look at her that, you know, maybe she wasn't the way she was because of the way she was treated as a kid, you know what I mean? So I try to look at it different. I try not to blame her for how I feel, because she's not been through a good thing either, you know what I mean? Even though she wasn't nice at times and stuff, like, until you really get into it and you realise, and then you're like, hang on a minute, yeah, maybe she was
You can
like that because of
understand
that.
it now.
No, you can understand it a lot better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
hi, Big Sis. Yeah,
hello, Helen Brown
as well.
and Kim. We've got another new person in the room, Helen Brown.
Yep, that's my real big sister, guys.
Oh, that's your sister, is it? Oh, hello. Hello, Drew's sister.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's my big sister. Yeah, I was telling them about how you and Alec only admitted a couple of years ago that it was you that used to scribble on the televisions and things and blame me. I was telling them about how that affected me growing up, and that's kind of your shadow work, is facing that emotion, the emotion of feeling helpless because my mum and dad would never believe me and things, and I'm like, it wasn't me, you know. Facing all that does you good. It does you to a place where you realise, wait a wee minute, I'm stronger now for those experiences, if you like, you know.
In the process of
That's what
shadow work, how do you all deal with guilt if you have any? By just facing it, bringing it up, realizing where the guilt comes from and how it stemmed, and accepting it and saying, and saying that you're sorry for what happened and accepting that, you was part of that. Okay. You have to accept yourself as well. It's not
Yeah,
always everybody else. You've got to realize that
Helen.
you're some of that as well. So the guilt would be, I know that I
yeah.
done wrong. I know that I was that way. I'm sorry. I want to change. I want to understand this. It's accepting it and facing it.
That's exactly what it is. See, that's
Yeah.
exactly the right question to
You
ask,
do
though,
have to forgive
Kerry.
yourself.
Because if you're feeling guilty about something, then that is what's going to hold you back. Yep.
You got to
Whatever
forgive
it is,
yourself.
go back, sit with a notepad after your
Thank you,
meditation,
Lunar.
find out, write down what it was, why it happened, find the reason for it, behind the reason behind what happened, who started it, and it's really just dealing with that full process in your mind. And then if you need to have a conversation with somebody but you don't really want to have the conversation, write it down and burn it in a cauldron or your sink.
Yeah.
But if the
Yeah.
person,
You
if
don't
you
have to
think is
go out
open
to
to
anyone.
talking about it, talk to them.
You don't have to say it
Yeah.
to them. You can just say it to
But it,
yourself. But accept it and
yeah.
and
But
and
that's
and
exactly
forgive
what
yourself.
you have to deal with.
Forgive
Gotta let this
yourself.
dog out of here.
You do need to forgive yourself. That is like the big key. You need to
Sparkle,
face
what are
it
you
first.
barking?
Let it come up. Face it. Go, okay, I know that I
Thank you,
done
Kim.
wrong. I know that this happened. I want to change that. I'm sorry. And just say, I want to forgive myself and forgive yourself. Okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does things that maybe they feel they shouldn't have. Everyone makes mistakes. It's learning to forgive that. Everyone does. Okay. That's the
Yeah.
biggest part of it.
We're only human. We're only human. And then it's about not repeating it as well. But find the reason that you reacted like that and why you feel
Yeah.
guilty. And then the
Yeah.
positive side of that is putting it into your head, right? Okay, I am never going to react like that again. If I'm put in that situation again, I'm going to totally deal with it different. I'm going to take myself
Hmm.
out the situation. I'm not going to respond, whatever it was. And that's you giving yourself a solution to the problem that maybe you should have done a way back then, but you're dealing with it now. And that insight to changing it the way that you would have, yeah, and forgiving yourself for it, but realizing where you should, what way you should have dealt with it is the way to move on and say sorry, and then draw a line under it and really truly forgive yourself and don't let it creep back in your head. If it creeps back in your head after you've done your shadow work on it, you've got to say, I'm not dealing with that. I said my sorries and totally push it out your head. It's not being selfish, it's realizing that you've done your diligence for it, if you like, you've done your time for whatever sin you feel you've committed, and totally move on, and you'll feel better. Trust me.
Oh
Very
yeah.
good advice,
Anybody else
Sheree.
got any questions? Sparkle, shut up.
Very good advice.
Let this go.
Like I said,
Thank you, sis.
everybody has problems and struggles. Okay, everybody
I
makes
don't know
mistakes.
what
Okay,
ends.
it's having it's having that
Yeah.
ability to be able to see
Stop
that and go,
barking.
yes, I stepped out of line. I done wrong there, but I've learned now, and I want to forgive myself. And like Sister Drew said, it is important. You don't want to hold on to things like that because that's when your head's going to start getting messed up again and things, you know. So there's always going to be ways around that as well.
Yeah.
Meditations, relaxations, going out to places you like, just putting positive things into your life to keep you in a positive place as well really
Definitely,
helps.
Lorna.
Yeah.
But you saying, Nelly, on your show, she doesn't know how to work her phone yet. That's okay, big sis. I've not even on my phone yet.
My texts are always mistakes.
Do you want to know what, guys? We, as human beings, we always are the first person. Exactly, we're only human. You're always going to feel sorry. If you're somebody that's spiritual, like all of us are, you're always going to hurt a wee bit more than somebody else if you're the one that's done wrong. But you can't let that affect your full. I have to admit what I'd done. I told my mum and dad what I used to do. For the 3 months that I stayed with them, I was really desperate because I wanted Barry to have a roof over his head as well. So I let him sleep in my bedroom for like 3 months and my mum and dad didn't even know he was there. So I had to end up admitting that to my mum and dad because I felt so guilty about it. For years I felt guilty about it. So see, just telling them that, it really did free me. You know, it freed me from knowing that I told them of something that was weighing really heavy on me. And you'll find things like that the minute you start to do your meditations. In your meditation, ask for those little things that hold you back in life. Say before you go into your meditation, say, Goddess, guides, ancestors, can you please show me where in life I've been going wrong? Let me see my mistakes. Let me feel my mistakes so I can correct them. And when you're in a meditation and you'll start to feel that old guilt thing coming back, embrace it.
Yeah.
And
don't
then
shut it
when
out.
you come out your meditation, that's when you turn to your books and write it all down and go back over that emotion and see where you went wrong. And guys, it'll be so freeing for you. It'll be hard if there is things in your past that's been quite traumatic, but it's really worth it, honestly. And we're all here for you if you need us.
I do understand that sometimes, like if there are some of you that are going to be facing certain factors and stuff that may have happened to you, there may be certain people in your life that are not there anymore, or people that you can't speak to because of what they physically have done to you. I have that situation, okay? But you can still put yourself at rest for that by just saying, I acknowledge what they done to me. I know what they done to me was wrong, but I want to forgive. I want to forget. I want to move on, you know, and you know, you could sit there, put your cauldron on and do it one day. You know, sometimes this work can take weeks, months, even if you have to fire that cauldron up for weeks on end, doing the same thing. In the end, it's going to come out and you're going to get that outcome that you want. But you've got to really believe in what you're doing. You can't just go in there half-hearted. You have to be fully connected to it to be able to understand it. Okay, so don't be scared of it. It's there to build you. It's there to make you strong.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Nope,
The thing is,
cool
if you
for
all want to
ranting.
be spiritual, if you are taking these classes, where is it?
There
is there.
Yeah, that
I
one.
nearly ended
I
my
nearly
life.
ended my life because of my sister, luckily. Wow.
I've
See,
been
it's
in that
things like
situation as
that.
well.
It's that before you get to that stage, you know, it's so crazy, guys. And finding your spirituality, it's not an easy path. It's something that usually happens, like me, through something traumatic has happened to you. Like Eli died and went to the other side. But it's that trauma. It's about facing that trauma so that you have got the ability to move on in life with things that you want. Spiritual things that you need as well. Like you need to feel love. You need to feel that you're worthy of things. It's not just about the finding the right partner, the right job and things. It's about really, really feeling happy in life. feeling that you're worthy of happiness as well. For years and years, I didn't know that happiness wasn't a reward, if you like. I felt as if happiness was something I was going to achieve in life, whereas really happiness is what you should feel every day, which is abundance.
To be honest,
Is
too
any
cool
of
for
you got
Banshee.
anything that's cropped up in life that you're thinking about dealing with?
I've gone through the
Sorry,
same
sis, on
thing,
you go.
Banshee. I've gone through the same thing. Okay, I tried committing suicide quite a few times, and my start and belief in myself, obviously, yeah, the shadow work, but my start and belief in myself was when the spirit stepped in and saved me as well. And that's when I realised as well that I was important, that life was a value,
Yeah.
and I am grateful that it done that.
Yes, Phoenix is saying some shadow work will make you cry. I recommend
It will.
just let it go and cry. You will feel better afterwards. Forgive and let
Yeah,
it go.
I agree.
Yeah. What's Luna saying? If you feel it in your stomach that you need to do this, then it's the biggest sign that you need to get it out and either tell
Yeah.
them your story and talk to them as a forgiveness from them. It's to help you move on in life, guys. That's what it is. Even if the person isn't here anymore, act as if you are talking to them in a mirror or something, even. It'll be so freeing for you. And then that way you're ready to do you're ready to start finding your data, start finding your spirit animals, start doing your spell work and your candles. So doing this shadow work is important so that you can move on into the rest of it, if you like, so that there's nothing going to creep up on you. Because if you're trying to do a spell one day and then all of a sudden in your head this is going to creep up, you're not good enough. I told you you're not good enough. You don't want that to creep up on you in the middle of doing a spell candle or something. So you have to deal with all that beforehand.
In this video that I'm going to do, like the follow-on to this, I've still got the other 2 videos to do yet, but the follow-on video to this, in what I've got and what I've researched, it has actually got bits in there that helps you to recognize if you need to do shadow work. It tells you these questions and stuff like that, and it'll make you realize, oh my God, yeah, maybe I do need to do some shadow work. Maybe I do need to reflect and look and sort myself out, And a lot of people, I'm not being, there's most people in this world need some form of shadow work, apart from Sister Mystical, because she was just like the fighting queen when she was younger, so she didn't have any of that problem. But there are
Well,
a lot
I
of
had a
people
lot
out
of
there.
support.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
See,
saying.
I
But
think
there
she
are
had a
a lot
good
of people
backup
like that.
system.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
Yeah,
out
I
there
had
like
a
that,
good
and I
backup.
think all of you would probably benefit a little bit from shadow work. Some of you it won't be very deep. For some of you it will be, but it helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting
you're very welcome, sweetheart. I
for
did
you
blow you a
guys. And
kiss.
remember,
Just
ask
to
yourself
remember
a
my
couple of quick Sparkle, stop it. Come here. All right, son.
Yeah.
Do we see what she's saying? I can relate, Banshee. Only the spirit that came to me was my mom and sister Sherry Drew and Uncle Danny saved my life. That's something I'm working through. See, everybody's doing it, guys.
And that's why I said to you earlier,
Arise.
like you might feel like you don't want to do it on your own, and you don't want to go to a professional. Talk and maybe ask somebody that has gone through shadow work or knows how it is to face it and sort it out, like Sister Drew, like me. You could come and talk to us. Okay, we could help you. We can't say that we can change everything, but we can give you advice and guide you. And if there's something you don't quite understand, we can help you through that. There's a lot of information and knowledge, so if you feel you can't do it on your own, you've got people to support you. You have. I'm sorry that you went through that.
Exactly, guys. See, my big sister's been through a lot in life, guys. She took fits and things as a kid. And then when she was about 17, she didn't walk until she was 5. And then when she was 17, she had a bad car accident as well. It also affected her walking. She is now, what age are you now? 54. And she's only just gave up and went into a wheelchair because her walking's so bad. But we're going to get her back strong again, aren't we, Nelly? And you'll be out the wheelchair. So I was giving my big sister Uncle Danny's story. We all know Uncle Danny's story, such as he was in a wheelchair and he is now out his wheelchair because of wanting to do his strongman and push himself on in life. So right now my big sister is kind of at the opposite of that. So she doesn't really know technology so good. So what I'm going to do is on her YouTube channel, I'm going to give her the Uncle Danny's Danny Wolf channel, and she can see the inspiration that he has as for us all, and maybe it'll help Nelly. So, is there any questions you also want to know about shadow work? Is there anything that's still niggling in your heads,
Kerry,
guys?
got all loads of trauma, but I have also got fibromyalgia, which I think years of trauma bottled up has had some factor in my bad health. Yes, and trauma and things like that can cause effects on your body. I'm not saying that you doing shadow work means your illnesses and stuff are going to go away, but maybe it's going to be more manageable for you. It's going to be more, you're going to understand it more. Okay. Like I have an illness. I have lumbar spondylosis. Okay. It affects me 24/7, 7 days a week. But it doesn't take the pain away, but it helps you to be more focused. It makes you feel more in tune. So things that normally would like upset you, down you, doesn't affect you as much.
Hey, Christopher.
Because you're in control and because you've got understanding now. So for you, Kerry, I think, maybe shadow work would really help you.
I'm glad you made it, Christopher.
Yes. Anytime you bottle up stress, trauma, anything like that, it's going to affect your health big time.
It is, yeah.
So with you all, like with shadow work, helps get rid of a lot of that. But like Sherry said, if you've gone too far along, it will ease it up, but not take it away. But the sooner
like for instance,
you deal with it, the better.
She'll never get rid of that. She'll never get rid of fibromyalgia, just like I'll never get rid of my lumbar spondylosis. But you will learn to deal with it. And it won't be as prominent and in your face as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're holding all that pain and stuff at the minute. Your body's feeling that because you're constantly tensed. That's how you got to think of it. Your body's tensed because you're constantly fighting all of this pain, this anger, this upset, this confusion. You're not letting any of this go. So the more you're holding that in, the more it's building and building and building. So your illness feels worse. Everything feels worse when you're not in a good place. Okay, so working on that makes it a lot more easier to deal with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, not that silly, am I? Really, quite educated.
And the meditation.
I was just gonna say
that. You're quite sensible. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, that meditation from the last session helps a lot relieve.
The thing is, guys.
Stress.
Yeah. Do the meditation and just even see now. I laugh at my shadow self when I think to myself, you're not good enough, you can't help anybody. Then I always just think of those people that have always said to me, thank you for helping me, Drew. That really helped, that oil and things. I now counteract that negative thought with a positive one from somebody. And you'll learn to do that. Do it in your meditations. Face your shadow self and replace that thought with something really positive, because now I tell myself I am good enough. I am going to help people with my oils and my pouches and things, So it's about counteracting it and getting, as we said before, everything is balanced. So that negative thought, balance it with a good one, And then you'll be ready to do all the things that you want to do, such as the candle work and the feeling the colours and things. You'll have a clear emotion to feel that, What about ego and shadow work? Ego is different. I think you need to have a little bit of ego. Not too big an ego, though. For somebody like me and Sherry, a little bit of ego is good because we've never had that before. So a little bit of an ego is okay. Maybe too much of an ego is a little bit not good. Leonard, remember, Leonard used to be coming into the chat when Nellie used to stay here. Nellie used to stay with us, remember? She went back round the road about 2 years ago, I think. Nellie went home. So if you've got any more questions before we let Mystical go, because my sister is frozen, I think.
Ego.
I have this one here keeping me warm.
Yeah,
Ego, like Sister Boo said, ego's okay to have if it's only a little bit. If it's just a little bit of ego, just to make you feel confident, and that is fine. But if you're using ego to the point that you're putting other people down, then no. You know what I mean? Like, definitely not. You don't use ego to hurt other people. You can use ego in a form to make you feel confident, make you feel comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
And especially if you've had like a life where where you've not been lifted or anything, a bit of ego really does feist you up, makes you like, yeah, you know, but don't do it in a negative way.
See, my sister will confirm this, guys. She's in the chat. Mm-hmm. Nellie, we weren't. It wasn't as if we had food on the table. But my mum and dad didn't really tell us that they loved us. They didn't push us to do better. My mum more told us that we couldn't do better, that she just wanted to keep us close. She didn't want us to get hurt in the world, if you like. So she never ever told us to go find your dreams. She never ever told us to go do what we wanted to do and encourage us or anything. We missed out on a lot of that.
That's how
more
my mum
so
was.
our Helen, because she was never encouraged. Yeah. Nellie was told she wasn't to go out, she was to stay in the house and things because my mum was so scared something would happen to her. You know, so that cocooning is really damaging to a lot of people. Hello, Sister Christina. Nice to see you. Were you sleeping? You're a bit late.
It weren't quite the same with me and my mum. Like with my mum, the reason I was always kept in is because she always wanted to be out and doing things that she wanted to be doing, and because I was the eldest, I could be there and you know take that load off. So it was always me left with the load. I had 4 siblings that didn't know how to behave.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm a 13, 14-year-old girl having to juggle 4 siblings as well as cooking, cleaning, doing everything that my mum should have been doing. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bit different.
Oh.
And you know, I never got that. My mum never used to really sit there and say, I love you, or I'm proud of you, or never. She hasn't. You know?
That's sad, though.
Sorry, I forgot you were back at work, Christina.
Like now that she's getting older, and because obviously I'm there and I'm I'm the one that picks her up and looks after her. She's very ill now. I'm the one that looks after her. Okay? Despite everything I've gone through. Okay? I look after her, make sure she's okay and whatever, yeah? Now she'll tell me that she loves me when I'm going. She'll give me a kiss on the cheek. Yeah, she will. But where was that when I was little? Where was all of that when I was growing up, where I needed it?
Yeah.
You know, where was you when I needed you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it affects you as you get older in life.
Yeah. And do you find if you bring it up, there's arguments?
I don't bring it up to my mum because my mum's
we
sort
can't,
of person will turn around and say you're
we can't even mention anything about the past to my mother.
It weren't my fault. It was your fault. Well, no, it wasn't my fault. It was your fault for not showing your love and things like that. You know,
that's what we
she would go off her head. She'd tell me that I'm ungrateful, whatever, and get out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Thank you for coming in, Curtis. So if you read into John, yeah, we definitely need to read more into it. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to. So I think you have all got a good perspective on what shadow work is, okay? I think you have all understand that, and this is more for the people that will watch this back rather than the people that's in chat just now. you should have a good reason. You should have a good acknowledgement of what shadow work is by now. Shadow work will be that thing that creeps up on you and tells you you're no good, but also it can also be the thing that walks beside you and reminds you of that you are good enough. So find the balance in it. So
Mine
as
walks with
going
me.
forward into next week's classes, we want you
Mine's
to,
right here.
yeah, we want you to really meditate, really try and find the good shadow side of yourself and the bad side. So write
My
it down,
shadow
guys,
self
and try
kicks me
and
up the
remember
arse.
you're only
My shadow self does.
human. That's called Uncle Danny with me.
Yeah, that's yeah, pups as well. Yeah, definitely.
Johnny, if I did that with my
Uncle
leg,
Danny's
I'd
my
break
shadow
my hip.
self.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I'll try.
I maybe shouldn't have put my leg
can't
that
even
high.
get
It's gonna-
up.
My hip
Yeah.
feels like it's gonna snap.
Yeah, I ain't doing that. I'll be limping
gonna
out of
hurt
this
myself.
prayer room.
I'm already limping. That's why I kind of put it down quick. I was like, ouch, why did I do that?
I'll
But
need a
that
hip
is what it does.
replacement.
It kicks me up the arse. It does. It's like Shelly, I'm not going down the road anymore. No.
Badgie has a, yeah, it says, Mystical, I keep eggshells for my house. Do you
Mystical,
think
I
they
keep
work?
eggshells
Yes.
in my. Oh yeah, eggshells
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
Eggshells.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
definitely.
a whole container up there of eggshells that I keep.
These need
Yeah.
to grind a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah, I
I've
have
got
a
eggshell as
whole,
well, but this isn't my house.
yeah, a whole deal. Plus, I have some down here that I still are working on, and they work really good because if you look at them as protection, the eggs, what do the eggs do? They protect the yolk that's inside, or they protect the baby that's growing inside. That's what they do. So if you use them for the intent of protection, they work tremendously. They even
They
work
do.
for fertility workings also. In
Yeah.
case you go in there.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, they work. Or I wouldn't spend
Just
hours
remember,
on
guys, that you're
powdering
all
them up.
special.
So is there
Just
anything you
remember, you're
want to
all
add,
special.
sisters? Yes,
Just remember, you're all special. You've all got a shadow self.
So-
Your shadow self is not evil. Your shadow self
Yes,
is reminding you of
guys.
your importance and your love within you. Okay, your shadow self cares about you.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay, so don't be
Yeah.
scared to face it. Yes, there may be difficulty and upset, but once you've faced that, you will feel so much more happier, and the load will feel like it's lifted off your shoulders. Believe me, you will. And do the
And
meditation.
it is important if you want to stay on the spiritual path. And remember, you always have to do shadow work.
Mhm.
I'm going to be doing another meditation
So
video Sunday. Tune it in.
yeah.
Okay.
Next week, I feel as if we should maybe catch up on some of the homework that the guys have been doing. As the ladies have been sharing in the chat, guys, I have now made a WhatsApp group up, and it is for the homework and things that we've sent you over the last couple of weeks. It's also a place for you all to come in and ask us questions, communicate with us. It isn't the main clan group that all our sisters are in. Maybe through time, some of you will get added to that clan group. But as for now, it's a place for us all just to communicate, ask questions, and get to know each other a little bit better, let's say.
Yeah.
So next week, we want to maybe start off with a meditation. Sister Cheryl, will you be home by next week?
Not sure, but I can do a meditation anyway.
See, I was thinking, what
I've
do you
got
think
my
of this, ladies? If
laptop
we do
here.
a live meditation next week, and in that way, all the people that can... Right.
So I'll do, but
Actually-
even if I've not gone home, I'll still
Because
do the
then
meditation.
we would be on
Next
hand
week
for
should
any
be a
questions
topic.
that anybody wants to ask us.
I don't
Actually,
think
just
next week should
subscribed
be
to
any topic. I just think it should
Right.
be us catching up on the homework
Yeah.
stuff and maybe
Mhm.
like doing like the meditation, having a bit of a breather.
And if
Yeah.
anybody's got any questions from what we've covered up
Yeah, I
to
Yeah.
feel
this
that
point,
as well.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
What do you
answer
feel?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So Banshee, I
definitely.
subscribed to
Yeah.
you. I didn't know that I wasn't subscribed to
So
you yet,
next
so I
week
just
we will
subscribed to
take
you.
questions.
Good, Kim, sweetheart. That's good that
To
you're
who?
going through some shadow work and you're
To
learning to forgive
Banshee.
them. Yeah, that's really good, sweetheart. But know that you've got us here as well if you need to talk to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
We do understand, Kim. We've been there, so sweetheart. So just come to us if you need us. You know.
Bloody dog.
I'm learning to
Yeah,
love
just
myself
remember
more.
we're
Good.
always
Love
on
yourself.
Messenger
You're
and
very
things for
special.
him.
You're very special, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Remember, these are all special and these are all worth it as well. These are worth the happiness that life has
You are.
to offer. Everybody's
All of
worth
you.
being happy, including you, Nellie Brown.
Each and every one of you in this chat, including us on this panel,
One of
we're all
us.
special.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
everyone can empower
You're
themselves
very
to
welcome,
do
Banshee.
what they're
You're
wanting to
very
do.
welcome.
If you want to do something, do it. You have the power within yourself to do it.
You have. It's in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right. That's what I've been told my whole life. You want to do something, do it. And
Exactly. Reach for the stars, guys.
See, that's what I
Yeah.
do with the kids. I try and let the kids know that they can do anything. Yeah, they can be anything they want to be. You know, I try and push that
Oh,
into.
how sweet,
I
Kim.
used to do
Oh,
it to Kara.
Kim. Yes,
Do it to
sis
what?
Sherry
Oh, yeah.
says always finding you all is one of the
You know
best
something?
things
We
to
get as
happen
much
to me.
joy
Oh,
out of
sweetheart.
yours, guys.
All right, Kim.
Finding you guys was the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It
works
was.
both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rotating door.
Exactly.
And
We're
that's
a
what we're
team.
here for, to try to get you all to
We're all a
understand
team. We
your
can't do it without
capabilities to
each
do
other.
things.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I am exactly. Yeah. A
Because
meaningful
a
life.
meaningful life
Exactly. I
is
mean,
a
some
happy life.
people, the
I
meaning
mean,
of
that's what I
life
was about to
start
say. A
with everybody
meaningful
else.
life will bring a happy life because it's
Yes.
things that you're enjoying. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you will get
Yeah.
happiness out of that. Definitely.
And feeling contented as well. I think that feeling of contented in life is important. Like the feeling that you know that there's nothing really out there that you are lacking, if you like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Right, okay, ladies, I'm going to end it there if you've got nothing else you want to say or anything, because
So
I do know that
just tune
Mystical
on
must be
to my
freezing.
channel next week.
She needs to
It's my
set a
channel next
fire
week
and
with
things.
Witchy 101 next week. It'll be on my channel. So next week isn't a session. We're just going to be taking any
And I'm
questions,
going to put that in the
talking
chat.
about the homeworks and doing meditation, guys. So make sure you do tune in at 11 p.m. UK and 6 p.m. Eastern USA.
Yes.
Because we all turn
I'm
anyone
going to
new
put
that's
in
coming
the
in the
chat
room.
the stream that Sister Sherry has done.
Yeah. Anyone that's new that's coming in the room, we do it on alternative channels, but you can go onto all of our playlists on our channel, and all of the videos are on each of our channels, guys. Okay, so you can get the videos.
Yeah. Let me find the video to find it.
So
You know, when we done it before the shadow work, we did go into it a lot deeper.
We are all amazing.
These are all brilliant, guys, honestly. You've got no idea how much you mean to all us.
So Christopher
let me
says,
share this in the chat for you. This is the last show that Sister Sherry and I
Read
did.
it out, Mystical, what Christopher said.
Christopher says, this was a good discussion and I always love listening and learning new things. You definitely can teach a dog new tricks, LOL. Enjoy listening. Thank you for coming in.
Glad.
We appreciate it because that's what we're gearing toward.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
good.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, and Phoenix says we are all special, each and every one of us. We each bring something
Right,
to
this
the
is
world.
the stream.
You are worth more than you know. Love yourself fully without limitations. Correct.
Exactly. Can't agree any more than that.
Yep.
Oh,
Don't
nice
feel useless.
one.
Helen Brown, you're not useless.
Yeah,
Not
guys.
useless.
Yeah.
Well, sorry about
You're not
Sparkle.
useless.
If you're feeling useless, you can
You're
get
not
that out
useless,
of
big
your head
sis,
because
honestly.
everybody is important.
I
Everybody
think a
has
sister's going to
special
be coming
gifts.
down to sort you out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll come and ping your nose. Right, okay, everybody. We'll end it there and let you all get back to your Friday night.
Happy
And
New
remember, we'll all be around if you need us, okay? We aren't far away. So
Oh,
I'll let you all go
one
for
more
now.
thing,
And love,
sis,
light, and blessings
because
to
we're not going
everybody.
to be on anymore.
Okay.
Happy New Year to everyone, because New Year's is on. So Happy New Year to everybody as well, because that's coming up.
Yep. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, guys.
Too cool for Banshee
Happy
says
New
Happy
Year
New
if we
Year.
do not see you.
Happy New Year, my darlings. We love you all. See you next Friday and on our channels through
Happy
the week.
New Year, guys. Okay, we will see you all soon. Bye, everybody. And remember, we're not far
Bye.
away if you need to reach out, okay? So bye for now. Blessings to
Let's
you all.
be.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in.
Thank you.
I'll just end it.